welcome, Mr. Galileo. Please, take a seat. Yes, of course. So, how are you today? I'm good, how are you? Yes, well, I've been better, considering I'm dead. Well, was dead. Where am I? You are just here to answer a few questions about your life. Shall we begin? Well, I suppose so. Alright, good. First of all, tell me who you are, where you came from, and what you've done in your work. My name is Galileo Galilei. I was born in Pisa, Italy in 1564, and I was one of 6 children in my family. My father was a musician, but that field did not interest me. After I went to the University of Pisa to study medicine, I very quickly got sidetracked by mathematics, which was not what I went there to study for. In fact, I dropped out of college without finishing my degree. I've done many incredible contributions in many fields, such as astronomy, physics, and engineering. I'd say I accomplished many things, and I have made a few theories and tested many experiments that I hoped contributed greatly to mankind. And that they did. How about we start with your experience with astronomy? What were some of your most important discoveries and contributions to the field? I believe that one of my most important contributions was my support for Copernican heliocentrism. While I did not create the theory, I greatly supported it in many of my books. But the church was not found in my defense of the theory. There was a great controversy over my immense support for the theory. The church subjected me to heresy. They made me undergo house arrest for the rest of my life, and banned the publishing of my books and banned me from making any more of them, which was very saddening. The only good thing to come out of this was that while I was under house arrest, I produced one of my most important works, that being my book, Two New Sciences. In this, I detailed 40 years of my work. What was some of the evidence you've helped find for the theory of heliocentrism? Some things that I observed to add to the theory were the phases of Venus, 4 large moons around Jupiter, which were the largest out of the 63, and the number of stars I saw through a telescope, which was much more than the human eye could ever see. I wrote this evidence in a book that I published, that being called Sidereus Nuncius. Any other contributions? Yes, of course. I created an improved telescope. It is true that I did not invent it, I just improved upon the design. I thought of the design when I heard about the spyglass, and after that I refined the parts and the lenses, making a telescope with a magnification 5 times that of the spyglass. I later made a more powerful telescope with up to 30 times magnification. What kind of thing did you find with your improved telescope? I observed the craters on our moon, moons of Jupiter, the rings of Saturn, the phases of Venus, Neptune itself, which at the time I did not know was Neptune, I thought it was just a dim star, darker spots on the sun compared to the surrounding area, which was just a phenomenon, and our galaxy itself. Why would these contributions be so important, and why would they help the future? I concluded that the theory of heliocentrism would eventually gain more traction and would be the basis of how we think about our solar system and the surrounding matter today. Am I correct in this assumption? Yeah. Thinking the Earth is the center of the universe is no longer believed to be correct. What about your telescope? My improved design goes much further than any other telescope. And if my design was improved upon even further, I think my telescope would shape even more discoveries and create many other inventions would help advance our world. Thank you very much, Mr. Galilei, for detailing your work in astronomy. Let us move on to physics. What did you contribute in that field? I'd say my work in physics is just as important as mine in astronomy. I am most proud of my basic principle of relativity. It states that the laws of physics operate the same, regardless of speed or direction. Thus, I stated there cannot be absolute movement or absolute stillness. Oh, that's very interesting. I didn't know you put forward that theory. You know, it is the basic framework of Isaac Newton's laws of motion. He defined many incredible breakthroughs in science. What else? I performed many tests and experiments on how to measure the speed of light, which I did by using an assistant on another side of a mountain or hill, and when he lit the lantern that were equally distant from each other, When I saw his light up, I lit mine. I also found pendulums very interesting. I stated that no matter the circumstances or the amplitude, a pendulum always takes the same amount of time to go through a full swing. That is very intriguing. I'd say your experiments laid the groundwork for others to expand upon your ideas. Are there any other contributions you would like to detail before we finish today? Some of my most important work is still yet to be discussed. In the engineering field, I created a useful military compass. It gave more accuracy to artillery cannons. I also created a concept for a clock using pendulums, but I never got to create it before I died. And as we discussed before, I created a refracting telescope used for observational astronomy. Alright, Galileo, Mr. Galilei, you have answered all my questions today. It seems you are very qualified to be put into the Scientist Hall of Fame. Thank you very much for the time you unwillingly had to give me.